I call to order the April 24th, 2025 regular action meeting of the Board of Education of Hinsdale Township High School, District 86. We are meeting in the Hinsdale South Library. The time is 6:01 p.m. Deb, will you please call roll?
Member Greenspan.
Here.
Member James.
Here.
Member Akras. Here. Member Kartunas.
Here by phone.
Member Rahman. Member Walker. Member Waters.
Here.
Please stand if you are able and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Point of order. We are deeply saddened by the recent loss of two of our students. Our hearts go out to their families, friends, and everyone in our school community who is feeling the weight of this grief. During difficult times like these, it's important to come together and support one another. Let's continue to look out for one another, hold our loved ones close, and lead with kindness in all that we do. Please observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Point of order, board. We have multiple students here to be recognized that will be part of the good news report from Dr. Caranto. I would like to move good news ahead of audience comment so we can get them moving and they can move on with their evening. Does anybody have a problem? Are there any concerns? No? Okay. So we'll start with information reports. Hinsdale South Good News.
Dr. Carrie Paranto, Principal of Hinsdale South, thank you so much. We have many students you'll see here behind me that we're going to be recognizing. The first groups that we are going to recognize are some of our activities students and all the accomplishments that they've had in recent months. I am going to hand the microphone over to our theater director, Mr. Danny Yuska, and he will tell you about all the amazing accomplishments they've had.
Thank you, Dr. Pinto. All right, tonight we have 3 groups of students who qualified for the IHSA state tournament and scored high in their event. First, if you guys will just step forward so they know who you are. Anina Garo and Luisa Oliveira advanced out of a very tough regional and sectional tournament and onto the state final round and placed second in humorous duet acting. Second, our group interpretation piece involved all 11 of these ladies. We did Suffs, which is a musical that just closed on Broadway, and we adapted it for performance, and we won the IHSA sectional tournament and advanced to the final state round and took 6th place in the entire state of Illinois. The following kids were involved. Step forward when I say your name. Andrea Crisp, Camilla Flores, Anita Garo, Verena Grease, Quinn Iceberg, Zara Jamil, Casey Johnson, Louise Oliveira, Asmitha Palith, Leah Simpson, and Carly Thomas. The kids who are decorated in medals and pins were awarded an IHSA All-Sectional and/or All-State Actress Award. And last, our musical theater review 6 won and took the state championship at the IHSA state tournament. The following kids were involved: Camilla Flores, Anina Garo, Zara Jamil, Louise Oliveira, Asmitha Palith, and Leah Simpson. These are the girls that brought home that state championship just a couple weeks ago. And finally, I would like to thank our amazing parents. We have the best theater drama mamas. A lot of them are here. I'd also like to thank our amazing school community led by Dr. Pronto and our activities director, Nick Shaveria, and all the amazing teachers. Thank you for your outpouring support during our musical just last weekend. It was amazing. We had so much fun, and that was because we had great audiences. And if you are bored and available, we are doing our variety show tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the auditorium at Hinsdale South. Thank you so much.
We see a lot of parents out there that are trying to take a picture. Maybe they can come back here. So they can
Yeah,
take
thank
a
you.
picture.
Parents, would you like to come over here?
Oh, you can just turn. Stand up.
Where are we looking?
Everywhere. I'm looking for all functions in the middle.
Okay, let's do that.
And thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, our next recognition, wrong word. We are going to talk about our athletic teams, and the team we're recognizing today is boys swimming. I will introduce Mr. Ardastro, our athletic director.
Thank you very much. Before I introduce our athlete that we're here to recognize tonight, I just wanted to congratulate all of our winter athletes. We do have two other all-state athletes. They will be joining us at a future meeting. They were training tonight at other things, so they had a conflict. But before I turn it over to Coach Walker, she is going to talk about a young man that not only had I don't want to steal any of her thunder, but not only a great senior year, but really a outstanding career at Hinsdale South, and I'll let her talk about all the accolades. So, Coach Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Ostro. Thank you, Dr. Pronto. Thank you to the board for recognizing Parker this evening. Congratulations to Hinsdale Central on their third consecutive state championship and their sectional championship. And I want to point out that at the sectional meet this year, District 86 won every single event at Lyons Township. Parker at the sectional meet was the 500 freestyle champion and broke the pool record that he had previously broken 3 weeks prior to that. Parker had an amazing season this year. He's had a wonderful career here at Hinsdale South. Currently, his 500 freestyle time puts him in the top 50 in the country for all high schools. He broke records at LT and at Bloomington High School this year, as well as and continuing to hold 11 out of the 33 individual records on the male side of the record board here at Hinsdale South. He is likely, right now, as of today, the most decorated and dedicated Hinsdale South swimmer that we have had here. So. Parker finished his career this year at 4th place in this 500 freestyle, 12th in the 100 back, and is automatic All-American in the 500 freestyle, as well as All-State in both events. He's led our team every single year, starting from his freshman year, with commitment and dedication, and I could not be more proud to have coached him. Thank you.
We are now going to hand it over to our board liaison. Because we didn't have a board meeting a few weeks ago, Ian was able to come today to be able to give her good news report. So a fun fact about Ian, this is great news. I just told Dr. Locke before the meeting. She is going to Northwestern next year. We were very excited for her. And we wish her the very best. So, for the last time by herself, Ian Milan.
Great, thank you. So to start this month's board report, I'd like to start by recognizing the girls' badminton team. So they've had a very successful start to their season. So on March 22nd, the varsity badminton team placed second at the annual Hornet Invitational. And at this competition, all athletes medaled in their respective positions. So congratulations to all of these athletes and their coach, Mr. Charter. And our girls' soccer team has also had a very strong start. On March 18th, they had their first win against Elwood Park. And at the game, Audrey Atkinson scored a total of 3 times. And just recently, she also scored her 100th career goal at Hinsdale South. So huge congratulations to her. Now moving on to our activities. So on Pi Day, which is March 14th, a couple of students had the opportunity to pie staff members in the face after purchasing tickets. So thank you to all staff members who volunteered, and special shout out to Dr. Locke for being one of the many volunteers who participated in this event. And you can see his photo in the bottom left-hand corner. Now on March 20th, our Muslim Student Association hosted an iftar, which is the meal that Muslims eat to break their fast during Ramadan. And this event brought together students from both South and Central. So again, a huge thank you to all the students and staff who organized this event. Now moving on to our fine arts department, you just recently heard from Mr. Yuska about all of the achievements that a lot of these actresses have had. So just to summarize, for our advanced acting class competed at the IHSA sectional competition, and they became sectional champions for group interpretation. And at this competition, they performed Stuffs, which is a theater production based on the efforts of suffragists during the women's suffrage movement. And then for our musical theater review of 6 also was a state champion. And again, congratulations to Mr. Yuska and all of these actresses for this amazing accomplishment. And on March 15th, Hinsdale South's Noteworthy, our co-ed a cappella group, competed at the Great Lakes region of International Competition of High School a cappella, where they placed 5th. And this puts them in the top 5 teams in the Great Lakes region, which has around 70 competitive a cappella teams. And this is the farthest Noteworthy has ever qualified, and we are so proud of this ensemble. Again, congratulations to all of these Hornets and coaches Gumman and Page, and we're so excited to see what this team has in store next year. Moving on to our extracurricular activities, so from March 14th to 16th, our Model UN team traveled to New York City to compete at the National High School Model UN Conference. These Hornets worked extremely hard while researching and learning about their assigned countries, and their hard work definitely paid off this year. Our Model UN team received the Award of Excellence, and Leah Simpson and Lana Carlisle were named excellent delegates for the Historical Security Council in Belgium. So congratulations to all these Hornets and Mr. Ritter. And on that same weekend, our mock trial team competed at the ISBA State Mock Trial Competition. And special congratulations to Karen Zaki, Marko Milutinovic, Ashley Valivara, and Lazar Martic for all being named Outstanding Attorneys, as well as Paulina Mayerchuk, who earned the Outstanding Witness Award. So congratulations to the mock trial team and Mrs. Linciani. And then very recently, we've had 2 Scholastic Art National medalists. So Eva Borsak was a silver medalist for Peace and Morality, and Iana Roach was a gold medalist for Peace Stealing His Heart. Now for the student voice section of my report, I'd like to talk about some of the main concerns that a lot of students at Hinsdale South had. So since becoming the student board liaison for Hinsdale South, one of the most significant concerns my classmates have shared with me is the potential disparity between Hinsdale South and Hinsdale Central. So in order to better understand the general beliefs of students at Hinsdale South, I gathered the opinions of a diverse group of students, so here's what they had to say. A topic frequently mentioned by students is the overwhelming difference in the percentage of students being denied access to certain classes between South and Central. Well, the main reason for this problem is the difference in size between the 2 schools. Students at South still wish to see increased efforts to decrease this percentage and help students take the courses that they need and want. One student stated that while students can travel to Central for certain classes, Hinsdale South students should not be put in a position where students have to take 2 class periods out of their day to take 1 class at a different school. Extracurricular activities were also an area of concern for these students. One student believes that there is a concerning difference when it comes to support for extracurricular activities. Multiple students also highlighted that Central has an abundance of STEM-based clubs, such as but not limited to Engineering Club, JETS, Girls Who Code, Women in Engineering, and Science Olympiad. While South, on the other hand, has fewer STEM-based clubs, with Robotics and Science Olympiad being the largest. Though Hinsdale South does have a smaller student body, which can indicate less interest, many students have expressed a desire to be a part of similar clubs, as well as frustration over not being able to participate. One student also mentioned how new student-led clubs struggle with funding and resource issues. For example, Hinsdale South's Robotics Club did not even have a sponsor or designated room going into the school year. In another case, the Recording and Broadcasting Club, a past student-led club, had to resort to a GoFundMe page to get funding for a recording studio. While Hinsdale South certainly does have well-funded clubs, newly created student-led clubs tend to struggle to stay afloat primarily due to a lack of resources. So generally, many South students believe that Central is being prioritized, leaving South disadvantaged due to the fewer opportunities being offered at South. And while this district does place an emphasis on equity, many of these students still feel unequal to their peers at Central. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak in front of you all today, and that is all for my report. Thank you.
Ian, go Cats.
Good evening, Bill Walsh, Principal, Hinsdale Central High School. Tonight is opening night in the Fine Arts Department for the annual Hinsdale Central Musical. If you're wondering where Shreeman is, look no further. This year we present Mary Poppins, the Broadway musical. Students in the cast, crew, and pit orchestra have been hard at work putting together the music and stage to make this incredible show happen. We hope to see many of the community members at one of the 4 shows over the next 4 days, and the character meet and greet following the show on Sunday. Shreeman is currently performing in the pit for that musical, and he's not here today, so I give his report in an abbreviated version tonight. One of the things I did want to present on behalf of him is the student council elections that have recently taken place just leading up to spring break. Congratulations to the class of 2028 president, Henry Crabb, class of 2027 president, Owen Sunderson, social chairs James Lane and Thomas Plumy, public relations, Lauren Walsh, secretary Darlene Chen, vice president Dylan Kassab, and the student body president for the 2026 school year will be Maddie Henry. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the West Suburban Conference Journalism Forum. This was an opportunity where our West Suburban Conference came together for a career opportunity to present to our students. Members from the El Diablo and the Devil's Advocate staff attended the West Suburban Conference Journalism Forum recently and had a great time. It was a great opportunity, I believe, held at Downers Grove. So next I did want to present, there were several things he has on here about clubs and activity fairs, wonderful things going on, but I just wanted to share his student voice section as well. And I'll just read from his report. On April 1st, and the days leading up to it, our community elected 4 new members to the Board of Education. First and foremost, congratulations to Mary, Liz, Bobby, and Barron on your election to the 86th School Board. As the new board begins its work, it's important to highlight the key priorities from the student perspective. Hinsdale Central students take great pride in our school and want to ensure it continues to offer a high level of academic and extracurricular opportunities. Above all else, students value academic rigor and Central's reputation for excellence. Maintaining a challenging curriculum despite outside pressures is essential for preparing students for success beyond high school. Many of these past reports have emphasized how much students truly value being challenged, and for their commitment to rigor remains unchanged. Recent events have also brought renewed attention to other important areas. Many students have expressed a need for greater support in the music department. Hinsdale Central's music program, including band, orchestra, and choir, is a vital part of student life. Some students point out that while feeder schools have nationally recognized harp programs, that same level of prestige does not always carry over to the high school level. Strengthening our music education will help bridge that gap and enhance opportunities for students passionate about the arts. Athletics is another cornerstone of the Hinsdale Central experience. whether through competitive sports outside of school or physical education programs during school hours. Students recognize the value of athletics in building teamwork, leadership, and above all, school spirit. Continued investment in these programs is crucial to maintaining the well-rounded experience Central is known for. Additionally, students recently participated in the 5 Essentials survey for the board. While this survey provides valuable insight into mental health and school environment, many students feel it does not fully capture our perspectives on school priorities and policy decisions. A stronger effort to engage with student voices beyond this survey would be beneficial. Ultimately, students want to ensure that Hinsdale Central remains a place of excellence, both in academics and in the programs that shape our experiences. Keeping Central a top-tier school requires a continued commitment to maintaining and enhancing the exceptional programs. Thank you, Sherman, for your report.
Thank you, Principal Welsh. I'd like to go back to audience communication, Superintendent Lux, anything, and then you'll do your report after that. So moving on to audience communication, the board will now hear audience comments for up to a total of 45 minutes. Speakers have 3 minutes to address the board. Board meetings are meetings of the board held in public, not open forum town hall meetings. Board members will not engage the public during public comment. The board will keep this in mind as we conduct our meetings, allowing the public to provide input at the time allotted on the agenda to ensure that the multiple voices of the community inform board deliberations. When the board deliberates, it will be a time for the board to listen and learn from each other, taking the public input into consideration, not a time to re-engage with the public. The board will consistently abide by our formal processes relating to this issue so that all persons are treated fairly and equally. Our first speaker is Bobby Fisher.
Hi, thanks for the chance. Is this on? Okay. Well, thanks for the chance to speak. I also wanted to say a quick word of thanks to the 23 to 25 school board for all that you accomplished. You know, I've attended or watched the meetings, and this is a board that collaborates at the table and that communicates decisions to the community in a way that has impressed me. There hasn't been a board majority or a minority. It's a team of people that work together for good outcomes. The conversations are student-centered. The results that we've seen have led to good student outcomes. So that's my main message, is a thank you. I will call out a couple of things that have been critical. This board ended the era of reckless student curriculum rewrites and replaced it instead with data-driven curriculum decisions. That was key. We have a strong reserve at this point. We continue to add world-class staff and teachers to the team. We've maintained those things that make our schools excellent. So a thank you for that as well. Most importantly, we've added 2 key leaders in Dr. Locke and Dr. Paranto, who have shown us what leadership means over these last 5 or 6 months. And I think that might end up being the generational and most important thing that you did. So big thank you to the board.
Our next speaker is Adolf Dolinski.
Deb, I have a. Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Adolf Dolinski.
Is it on,
Testing?
That's better.
Okay.
Gotta lean right into it.
Good evening. My name is Adolf Dolinski. At the March 27th board meeting, Board President Greenspan communicated the importance of adhering to the Illinois School Code and supporting our students. Yet, under her leadership, District 86 has failed to adhere to the school code section, which requires it to provide equal education opportunities. Illinois Administrative Code Title 23, Section 1.240A states, all students within a school district must be provided equal opportunities in all education programs and services provided by the system. It is that simple, yet District 86 fails to meet this fundamental rule of the school code. Let's take a closer look. Part 1, all students within a school district. As stated in an ISB legal staff opinion, a copy I have provided you tonight, it is our opinion that section 1.240A in the Illinois Administrative Code and 1020.12 of the school code pertain to the right to a free public education that must be equal for all eligible students residing in a district. Simply put, all means all. All District 86 students are entitled to equal education opportunities no matter where they live or which school they attend. Part 2, students must be provided equal education opportunities. Rather than discuss opportunities, district leaders deflect and discuss outcomes. Further, district leaders purposely talk about courses offered rather than courses provided. Offered simply means a course is listed in the district's program of studies. Staffing to provide courses in District 86 is determined using a framework prejudiced against Hinsdale South students, the school with significantly lower enrollment. The district's prejudicial staffing framework leads to an abundance of courses being provided only at Hinsdale Central year after year. The galling thing is that the district administration knowingly perpetuates the practice of hiding the disparities from the public in its annual staffing request presentation, leaving it up to the public to FOIA and analyze master schedules to discover the damage that was covered up. Part 3, opportunities in all education programs and services provided by the system. The law does not differentiate between core and elective courses. However, some board members pretend they are different. District 86 determines the courses in its program of studies, and no matter how District 86 chooses to label them, either core or elective, under the law, they must all be provided to all must be provided to students in a fair and non-discriminatory manner. The recent election offers our incoming board an opportunity for its members to commit to the Illinois School Code, providing district-level leadership to achieve equal education opportunities across all of District 86. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is James Wack.
Good evening, thanks for the time. Our families
Can you
live.
speak into the mic? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Our families lived in the district for the past 5 years, and we moved here from the city in 2020, and primarily for the excellent schools and the close-knit community. I'd like to start by congratulating Bobby and Barron and Mary and Liz. We're excited to see the diverse perspectives and unique experience and expertise that each of you will bring to the board. In addition, thank you for each of you board members for serving in this incredibly important capacity. We appreciate this requires professional and personal sacrifices, yet it's oftentimes thankless. I hope it's not lost on any of the district constituents you serve, and I don't take my personal comments that will follow lightly. Our community is blessed with some of the best schools, administrators, and educators in the state and country. With this said, over the last couple of years, there's been significant senior staff turnover, administrator and educator mismanagement and micromanagement, resource and legal mismanagement, limited transparency, personal vendettas among board members, and more generally, one public crisis after another. We are all tired and sick of reading about crises and scandals in the Patch and in Zalian week after week. In my job, I regularly advise corporate boards. While the constituents are different, the overall scope of responsibilities are similar. What has transpired in the last couple of years is an antithesis of a well-functioning board. And these issues start and stop with the president. It's time for a change in leadership of the D86 board. We need a president with the experience and expertise to effectively serve in the role, as well as someone who can be objective and collaborative with all stakeholders. To each D86 board member, please do the right thing when you vote for board officers on May 5th and elect a president who will do the best job, and please set aside personal loyalties and friendships. It's time for a new chapter in D86 board education governance. Please create the change that this community, and most importantly, our students and educators desire and deserve. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Sonia Gill.
Hello. You have to talk.
If it's green, it's on.
Oh, okay. Hello, my name is Sonia Gill. I'm going to take my glasses off. I've been listening to these meetings at home for years, and I'm really excited for the turnaround in the new board. And I just wanted to let you guys know, I've emailed quite a few times to say I still have trust in you, I still have trust in you. And I'm getting to the point where now I'm like, sadly, I can't say I trust our board anymore. We expect our district to provide an exemplary education to all students and to keep our children safe from harm. The community voted you in as leaders, and we trusted you have the best interests of our children at heart, including every student's right to privacy. Your job is to make sure that our students come first, and in light of the information released this past week, I'm worried that our children are not being put first. As for many good things that this board has done, which is quite a lot, it unfortunately has gotten weighed out by the bad, and that list just keeps on getting longer. The past few years have been nothing short of dramatic. It started with Prentice being placed on leave, and then we had several resignations, board members leaving without explanation, legal bills, flippancy towards teachers, followed by no confidence vote of our president, a few violations, but most importantly to me, no transparency or explanations as to why. There has been one consistent factor in these 2 years of chaos, and that's our board and our board president. Parents are exhausted watching our circus, and it's time to change. It recently became public that a child was possibly subject to a violation of their right to privacy, and that the information was used to fire our superintendent. And I would like to know if it's true. We deserve to know the truth, and please no more silence. It certainly appears to me that the student privacy was violated. It was your job and duty to make sure that didn't happen. And I just want to know what moral grounds you can give for that. And it's time to offer some explanations. What I see is right now, and I would love an explanation of this, but what I see is that there was a failure to protect a student. End of story. And next time that could be my child or any of you, you know. I have confidence that Ms. Greenspan came into her presidency with good intentions, but somehow things have been turned around, and I no longer have faith in her capabilities as a president. I understand that not everything can be explained to the public, but I do expect transparency and humility, and I believe it's time to turn the page. At the next meeting, new officers will be elected, and my ask is for more transparency from the board, less silence, and election of new officers. The trust between the community and current board has been lost, and I strongly believe Ms. Greenspan no longer represents what most of the public would like to see in a district president. To all of the board members, please show us that you are willing to effect change by electing new officers, and we deserve a fresh start. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Yvonne Mayer.
Before I start, I do have permission to use the family name. Could you say that in the microphone, please? I do have permission to use the family name. Thank you. Tonight I will address the illegalities of the September 26, 2023 Leventhal family litigation hold letter. In reviewing the documents released by Dr. Leventhal and on the FOIA log, it appears unprecedented to send a hold letter about a student matter, due process complaints, or other student litigation. It's clear from these documents and timeline outlined in Kay Gallo's October 2023 letter regarding privacy violations and the cover-up that President Greenspan had the hold letter for 3 days before the rest of the board did. Since there was no board meeting, the full board did not approve it, nor did the full board approve the September 22nd letter to board member Leventhal threatening her to keep information confidential. When looking at the timeline of all events, the Leventhals are correct that the hold letter paints a misleading, not chronologically accurate account in an attempt to disparage them as they advocated for their children's privacy rights. Further, there was no pending litigation, no threatened litigation, and Dr. Leventhal went out of his way to drive that point home in emails to the interim superintendents. Shame on you for lying about the Leventhals to each and every person that received that letter. Regarding the IT search directed in the letter, it is clear that Keith Bockwell received and responded to it 2 days before the entire board even received it. Why? The IT search was overly broad and violated multiple privacy statutes including FERPA, ISRA, IDEA, HIPAA, and the very strict Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities Confidentiality Act that states, quote, any person who knowingly and willfully violates any provision of this act is guilty of a Class A misdemeanor, end quote. With no court order and no parental knowledge or consent, You egregiously violated all 3 Leventhal students' privacy rights. The statutes clearly state that in order to access records, you needed a narrowly tailored educational interest, of which you had none. You had no permission to access parental communications, student communications, reports, 504 plans, special education documents, healthcare notes, etc. The whole letter outlined illegal action that was made more illegal by directing staff to then send the records outside of the building to the law firm. Student records requests are also documented in the request for due process pleading. It's clear the Leventhals were trying to get information about their children for over a year, information they were entitled to. But once they knew you were surveilling them, you still refused to come clean to give them the information they're entitled to, along with the details of what Ms. Greenspan claimed to have been told in May 2023. This is the behavior of cruel, immoral, unethical, and power-hungry individuals. This quote by James Baldwin comes to mind. Quote, "The children are ours, are always ours, every single one of them, all over the globe. And I'm beginning to suspect that whoever is incapable of recognizing this may be incapable of morality." End quote. Finally, your board agenda states you are adjourning into closed session tonight. The community is aware of your misdeeds and the harm you inflicted on a respected district family. I certainly hope you will not attempt any additional retaliatory action against them. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Elise Benton.
Hi.
Can you speak into the microphone?
Hello?
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
hi. I'm Elise, and I spoke twice at the meeting last time regarding Hinsdale Central's band. And I've been asked by a family friend to read her letter to the board. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it to tonight's meeting since she's going to the opening night of Mary Poppins, and her freshman daughter is in the musical. And Ms. Adusi will be conducting the Nat Pitt Orchestra for her performances. So this is her letter. Dear members of the Board of Education, I'm writing to respectfully urge the board to reconsider the decision to reduce Hinsdale Central's band staffing to 1 FTE and 1.5 FTE teacher next academic year. I ask that you pause this decision and instead maintain 2 full-time band teacher positions as part of a larger commitment to rebuilding and reinvigorating Hinsdale Central's band program. Band is more than just a class. It's an immersive, time-intensive program that extends far beyond the school day with rehearsals, performances, and trips. Elements that are essential for a thriving and effective musical education experience. Reducing staff now, while the program is in a phase of under-enrollment and rebuilding, risks long-term harm to a program that is home to many students. There's a precedent in this school district for maintaining teachers and classes with low enrollment, such as the case for the German language class and various other classes that are under-enrolled in our district. We must apply this same thoughtful consideration to music. A vibrant music program, like humanities or foreign languages, deserves investment even during seasons of under-enrollment. Research has shown that multi-year engagement in music, especially instrumental music, consistently correlates with better academic outcomes in English, math, and science when compared to non-music peers. A high-achieving high school, in my opinion, as evidenced by studies, needs to have a thriving music program. Reducing the band program undermines the excellence that Hinsdale Central aims to offer for its students. Additionally, I ask the board to consider granting a PE exemption for marching band participants or for students who participate in 2 band ensembles. Scheduling conflicts are a significant reason why students decide to take band, decline to take band, opting instead for other electives. I know of 5 to 10 students in my son's HMS graduating class that didn't continue in band at Central due to wanting to take intro to business or pre-engineering. These students would have taken band if they could. Often creative scheduling solutions and flexibility can go a long way towards retaining and increasing student participation. I'm asking the board to support and encourage all necessary measures to rebuild and strengthen the band program at Hinsdale Central. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration.
Do you have more to read, Elise?
She did have more that she
Can
wrote.
you finish?
Okay. I skipped a paragraph. Last, I speak from a deeply personal place. I'm the daughter of two, this is her, not me, of two. I do not have a son. Just to clarify. I'm the daughter of two professional musicians. My father was a violinist in the Philadelphia Orchestra for 47 years. Again, not me, that's really cool. He often spoke of his public high school music teacher as the person who changed the course of his life, guiding him to a career in violin performance. Now 89 and living with dementia, my father is still as lucid as ever when it comes to music. Today he told me, tell the people that a thriving music program is the foundation of a good public high school. I'm asking the board to support and encourage all necessary measures to rebuild and strengthen the band program at Hinsdale Central. This includes maintaining 2 full-time band teachers, retaining Mrs. Ducey as a full-time teacher, considering PE exemptions, and exploring creative scheduling options. Please do not make a short-term staffing decision that could have lasting effects on an essential and inspiring program. I implore you to consider my wise father's advice, my wise family friend's father's advice, and to figure out a way to support the musical foundation at Hinsdale Central. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration. I love this solution. She's amazing. It's incredible. So I hope you reconsider your decision.
Thanks, Louise. Our next speaker is
This is from Kara Hurley. I think I already said that. But Kara Hurley, psychologist. Yeah. Parent.
Thank you, Louise. Our next speaker is Kara Kuo.
Let me speak into the mic, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Kara Kuo. Haven't been to one of these in a while. My first part that I'm going to read is from a resident named Richard Morton, who's not able to attend. So I'm going to read his letter, and then I'm going to read my own thoughts after that. The Leventhal letter is more than just a list of grievances. It's a mirror held up to a school district that's lost its ethical compass. At the heart of it is the former superintendent, Tammy Prentice, whose legacy includes branding Hinsdale as a dangerous place and empowering a culture where boundaries, legal and moral, meant little. Her removal was long overdue, but the way it happened, that's where the real story begins. Instead of pursuing a principled, transparent path, board president Kathleen Greenspun allegedly zeroed in on a student privacy violation, not to defend the student whose rights were violated, but to use the breach as a leverage to remove Prentice. In the process, Greenspun seemed entirely willing to let the Leventhal family become collateral damage. There's no apology, there's no accountability, just political calculation. If this is accurate, and it's not just a policy failure, it's a moral one, a student's confidential disability information was allegedly weaponized, not protected. And when his parents tried to advocate, the system turned on them. This isn't leadership, it's a betrayal of public trust, a mockery of students' rights, and a warning sign for every parent who thinks their child's privacy ends where politics begin. That was Richard Morton's statement. My statement. More than 15 years ago, Debbie and I, Debbie Leventhal, met when our children were in preschool. I've had the utmost respect for Debbie and her husband all these years. The added shame to this whole saga is that D86 lost 2 incredible board members as a result, Debbie and Kay Gallo. The board members who are responsible for all of this should be punished, or at the very least, should be embarrassed to be representing our community. They certainly should not be officers of the next board's election. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Cooper Green.
Good evening. My name is Cooper Green, and I'm a freshman at Hinsdale South. I've been in band for 5 years and played trumpet in the Hinsdale South concert band, jazz band, and I'm in the Mighty Hornet marching band. Some of you may recognize me as I made a speech to the policy committee regarding the issue of the PE band exemptions. Something else you should know is I also have a brother. He is currently 22 and living on the other side of the country. However, when he was 16, he had a mental health crisis. I won't get into the details, but what I will tell you is that I learned a lot about the importance of mental health, especially in our age group. Mostly it taught me that mental health is just as, if not more important than physical health. In 2023, the CDC found that 40% of adolescents had persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness, and 1 in 5 seriously considered attempting suicide. You may wonder how this is related to the band PE exemption. Band is so much more than just playing an instrument or marching on a field. And I feel I and many others have found people in band, friends, and a sense of community, a sense of belonging. Every day of marching band, I talk to people that I otherwise never would have met. Band is a place where people express who they are by doing something they enjoy. In this day and age, mental health has become front and center, and band is a big part of that for me and many others. When I talked to the policy committee on Tuesday, I mentioned how I and others have discussed the idea of having to make the choice between what we love and enjoy and what is important for our futures. High school students have to prioritize their futures and are under a lot of pressure to know everything they want to do and what classes to take. Band students are usually high achievers who take many AP classes, which some see as more important. This makes people think, why would I stay in band if I need to take these classes? However, kids shouldn't be forced to make this decision. It actually hurts their passions and motivations and forces people to drop something they love. Something brought up at the committee meeting on this topic is how students' futures should be prioritized. However, the PE exemption would prioritize their futures while also allowing students to continue with one of their passions. This also leaves the door open for both music and other options in the future. Another thing the committee brought up is why the gym exemption was changed in the first place. No one could remember why, so I did some research. The board back then brought up 2 issues they had. One thing was the need for it to be ongoing. They argued that the marching band was not ongoing past the football season. However, this is not true. At South alone, we have multiple marching band events much after the football season. This includes the Veterans Day performance, Memorial Day performance, the July 4th parade, and the state send-off parades. Marching band does not end after the season ends, but is ongoing for the entire school year and the summer. This ongoing participation allows for 9 of the 10 local school districts to offer the exemption past the football season, with 1 allowing first semester, 1 allowing 11th and 12th grade for the full year, and the other 7 allowing 9th and 12th grade for the full year. The other issue the board has was fairness to other students. They said that people in other sports don't get extra period for credit. However, the difference between that and band is a class during the school day. Anybody who participates in football or basketball, and is in AP and honors classes, can do both without conflict. However, a band student in that same situation can't. If anything, it's not fair to the band students, as the current policy doesn't allow them to do both. Band is our sport, our basketball, our football, and we should be given the same opportunity as people in those sports. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your service to our community as board members, and for wanting what is best for all of us. I ask that you consider extending the PE exemption for the marching band to a full year. This is important for all students in the program, as it allows everyone in the program to be able to prioritize their future while also doing something they love and enjoy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Linda Burke.
Thank you very much, board members, for your service. I am a band parent, now a music teacher parent. He's living his vocation that was fully supported as he took 2 music classes at Hinsdale Central, using some early bird and some summer school to fit everything in. So those are good options. But I am here to give my support to the full year PE exemption for marching band students. Hooper just made a wonderful point that marching is not just one season of the year. And also, no one has remarked as of yet that interest is growing at the sender schools in band and orchestra. So there's no natural decrease of interest in these courses. In fact, interest is growing, and if students could fit all their courses in, we would not have a declining enrollment in band. And I might point out that music is academic. There's a whole lot of history, culture, and math involved in music. Now, marching band is also a big commitment. It is not a ruse to avoid gym class. Gym class would be a lot less work the marching band. And also the band is our public face to the world in many ways. Letting enrollment decline when we could easily make an adjustment to support enrollment would be a big mistake. Please, as Elise said, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, make this decision in time to reinstate Grace Aducey as full-time faculty. Because her loss in the next academic year would present huge problems and long-term problems for enrollment in band. Also, I would like to thank Board Member Jeff Waters for being the first to bring this up when the kids came to talk to us the first time, and also to the rest of the board for always listening to well-researched, respectful pleas for expanded opportunity. You've done so much for the kids, all of you. And thank you, Board Member Akras, for accepting the labor-intensive job of board secretary. Actually, being an officer on the board is, no ego trip. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Kim Notaro.
Thank you for bringing the marching band PE exemption to the table. Not close enough. When the board discussed eliminating the marching band PE exemption on January 23rd, 2017, they celebrated D86's successful band and jazz programs and committed to evaluate whether there was a negative impact of removing the exemption. From school year 18-19, the last year the PE exemption was for all band students, to school year 24-25, Central's band enrollment has dropped 135 students, that's 44%, and South's has dropped 84 students, which is 51%. This isn't the impact of band leadership or COVID. This drop occurred because students were forced to choose between the music they love and academics. The data shows eliminating the band PE exemption discouraged students from pursuing music. With just 7 periods each day, plus lunch, academically motivated students are expected to enroll in 4 years: English, math, science, social studies, world language, and PE, which leaves just 1 period for resource, study hall, or electives. Those who choose early bird PE are excluded from early bird jazz, which dropped at Central from 170 students in 2016-17 to just 40 this year. You can't compare band with athletics. Student athletes are not required to enroll in their year-round class specific to their sport. Band is both a class and activity, a year-round commitment with 1 or more music classes every day, plus daily practice, private study, performances. Many students also participate in competitive ensembles outside of school. Individually, every band member must learn their part and participate in the program. Students attend band camp, after-school practices, march in several parades year-round, perform at home games, seasonal concerts, and so much more. Band requires consistent enrollment. You can't take a semester off and come back to the same place. Band is one of the activities that makes high school memorable. In the words of students who advocated for the marching band PE exemption, band is family, community, my support system, our culture, where I feel empowered, where I can express myself, where I feel visible and understood, where I feel comfortable being myself, the reason I come to school, the place where I belong, what keeps me in balance. Band is where I learn self-discipline, hard work, collaboration, leadership, preparation. Band made me feel confident from a dyslexic student who never felt seen. School code permits a full-year marching band PE exemption because band is a full-year commitment. Please restore the marching band PE exemption for students from 10th through 12th grade if they pass 5 of the 6 fitness tests freshman year. Allow freshmen to take early bird PE 9-10 to encourage them to continue their study of music and extend access to courses.
The rest of the policy needs to evaluate the impact of extending the day. Prior to the elimination, Central's policy read, students enrolled in early bird music could take an additional course. At South, everyone could take an additional course. If everyone in band can take an additional course, that is a huge thing. So you're gonna really have to weigh what the data says. But I hope you'll reinstate the PE, marching band PE exemption.
Our next speaker is Emily Zwicky.
Hello, good afternoon. I hope everyone is having a nice day. My name is Emily Zwicky, and I am a current freshman attending Hinsdale South High School. From my understanding, like we just saw, it has been brought to your attention that there's been an ongoing issue with scheduling for the band students. I know that many students, as well as the staff and band boosters, have brought this information to you in recent years as well. Today, I'm here to propose the idea that students in band receive a PE exemption for a full year, which will give students the opportunity to take another elective or study. I am not here for only the voice of myself, but the band as a whole. I went and visited all band classes at South and presented them with the information I'm sharing with you today. I asked for their opinions on the scheduling we have here, and all 78 out of 78 band students agreed that they would like to have a full year of a PE exemption, just like it was before. I will repeat, that is 78 out of 78 band students that are in need of more time. That is 100% of the band, and we would also, everyone would love this change. I've been in band for 5 years, and I'm planning to continue in the future. I'm in all bands available to me at South, including jazz band, concert band, marching band, and I also attend the Symphony and DuPage outside school. And this gets very busy. Many of you have had children who are involved in student programs outside of school, mostly music, and can show you what dedication and time it takes for the students involved. One of the examples I like to give people who aren't into music is that, if we think about music in movies and if you're driving in a car to work, a lot of us listen to music, and something without that is like kind of nothing to a lot of people, especially in band. So, as many of you may know, many of the students in band are often high-achieving students who take advanced courses and extracurricular activities. As many of us have the passion for music, we struggle to find time to extend our passion into more hobbies, educational growth, and extra academic hobbies. Teens in high school have so many expectations, and we go through a lot. As many of you were once teens, you could definitely understand that being a teenager is the most emotional roller coaster you've been on. We have to keep up with our social lives as well as our well-being. But I can reassure you that band has helped many teens, including me, with these issues. With the experience of only 1 year in high school, I've realized how many students are struggling to keep up with their mental health. At the end of the day, all band students can agree that music alone has a positive impact on our lives. In band, we've been introduced to so many new things and people with limited classes we could take. Many students have this taken away from them. Marching band is a useful time for students to learn music as well as do physical activities. Marching does take up time and restricts many of us from more education. Many of us could argue that marching band is more useful than a PE period. Although early bird PE is an option, it becomes a complication when students want to take early bird jazz band. Ever since scheduling conflicts, we've had many students drop out of band after playing instruments for over half their lifetime. We just had an oboe player drop out of Wind Symphony after playing for 7 years. So that's very sad. A few years ago, before COVID, South gave band students a full year of a PE exemption. Is that okay if I continue? Thank you. Now with the PE exemption for only the marching season, students are forced to make unwanted decisions and drop out of band. While Central and South have smaller bands, Central and South having smaller bands may be partly caused by COVID, both bands are still having a very difficult time returning back to their pre-COVID size simply due to the fact that many incoming band students choose academic classes over music. Just mentioned. Emma Kelling, a current junior and drum major of the band, has been looking for some changes in scheduling as well. She states opportunities are being taken away from these students both in the field of music and their interests. We are only 78 teenagers who want more time in our lives to enjoy a passion we look to exceed. So please let us have that and extend the PE exemption for a full year so we can take academic classes without sacrificing our own music education. What you do here is changing generations of people. So please give us the right support that hundreds of us need. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Wendy Bell.
Hello. My name's Madhu Garg, and I wanted to add my voice to adding PE exemption for band students. Although that was not my main reason for coming here today, I wanted to congratulate the 4 new board members on their election and thank the outgoing board members for their service to the community. Yes, it is a thankless job, but an extremely important role that is played by community members in local government. If you look at the district website and to the wall behind all of you, which has the strategic vision, mission, values posted, there are accountability, respect, and trust are 3 of the 9 values listed in the strategic plan. When the new board members were elected 2 years ago, there was a great sense of relief and optimism within the community. Most community members felt the district would get back on track with the new board holding Tammy Prentice accountable for the changes she made by evaluating student data to determine efficacy of the physics first track and by using student growth and achievement data to determine how our high school students were doing in comparison to prior years in all subject areas and in comparison to schools in similar school districts. That's the job of the Board of the Education, to hold the superintendent accountable. Having a student who started at Hinsdale Central during the pandemic, I was looking forward to the new board working collaboratively and transparently to make positive change for our students and community. Unfortunately, my younger son graduated from Hinsdale Central in 2024, resenting his science education with a lack of focus on fixing known issues with science education at Central, wasting a year with 2 interims who seemed to be constantly micromanaged by the board, and the continuous focus on alignment between 2 high schools when alignment has not been defined clearly and agreed upon by all stakeholders. It is also unfortunate to see this board led by someone who has used her position to micromanage the administration, to withhold information from fellow board members, intimidate fellow board members, misuse district resources and the board attorney, and not comply with Open Meetings Act rules related to executive sessions. Transparency was a campaign promise that was not upheld for the past 2 years. Since 2023, there's been a lot of talk about 2 elected board members resigning and not completing their terms. This week, we learned about what transpired behind closed doors that led both of these board members to resign. I am shocked and extremely disappointed by the blatant violation of Mr. and Mrs. Leventhal's child's privacy and protected rights, as well as the lack of transparency with both parents about the extent of the violation. It was their right to be fully informed about the violation, and Ms. Leventhal should not have been intimidated by any board member about this matter. Not only did the current board president use the supposed violation which only she was privy to as a fast pass to get rid of Tammy Prentice, but the board majority did not follow up on a full investigation into the violation as promised to her. It is upsetting that both parents learned about additional violations to their children's privacy from a whistleblower. If Ms. Leventhal was not a board member, she would never have known about her child's data being used by the board president and as a result by the board majority as a means to achieve their desired result. There are community members and board members who will downplay this, and it's easy to do that until it's your own child who is exploited by the very body who should be holding each other accountable and protecting all students' privacy and making sure they are safe from exploitation. Accountability, respect, and trust are values we want our students to graduate with. These are values our board members should also exhibit as they represent our students, taxpayers, and all of the stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you. Our final speaker is Emily Gallagher.
Sorry, just need to pull it up. Sorry, I'm just pulling up my speeches on my phone. I didn't pull it up yet. I'm sure you're very tired of hearing about the band program, but I'm the last one. So you're going to hear a little bit more about bands and my opinion on it. Hello and good evening. My name is Emily Gallagher, and I am a freshman here at South. I'm here today to offer another argument for the extended PE exemption for students involved in band. I myself am very passionate about music and academics, being involved in multiple honors courses and multiple groups, including 4 choirs in and outside of school, theater, and Hinsdale South marching band. Fitting this all into my schedule is difficult,
And I know that this has been the case for many students who share my passions and standards. I currently take early bird PE, but this isn't an option for students like my friends over there who would like to be involved in other early bird classes such as jazz band. If a student was interested in 2 electives, a world language, which really isn't optional for college, and jazz band, that student would have to give up one of those electives for a whole year. Whereas if band kids had a semester-long or full year-long exemption, that kid would be able to take an extra elective, expanding their education while also getting exercise via band class. We practice marching basically every day during class throughout the entire marching season, which is almost the entire fall semester anyway. So adding just a couple of weeks or the whole year to that could allow band students to expand their education by taking another class. Furthermore, music education is scientifically proven to increase cognitive function and brain development, according to a study done by the National Institutes of Health. Children who had had musical training were found to have better verbal memory, language learning capacity, and pronunciation, accelerated reading, and high levels of executive functioning, according to the study. Learning music can actually improve performance in unrelated subjects, I guess they are related, but such as science, math, and English. For these reasons previously mentioned, it is apparent that most band kids have more than one passion. I, for example, love learning about science, history, English, among other subjects, such as theater, drama, art. Allowing students like me to take an extra elective for a semester could not only lead to improved academic performance, but also to higher college acceptance rates and a better overall education for high-achieving students. A quote from current senior and drum major Andrea Crisp states a similar point that, quote, by restricting access to performing classes and maybe even keeping an extra AP class from an extremely intelligent student, one is effectively choosing one social demographic over the other. We're not all sports kids. And while we may understand the importance of physical fitness and health, or even participate in various sports ourselves, eliminating our arts classes is only reinforcing harmful and divisive social division among the student body, end quote. This begs the question, would our school rather see its students succeed academically with extra AP credits and possibly even early graduation, or take PE, an unnecessary class for a student who's already involved in a physically rigorous activity such as marching band? As stated by Andrea, band kids are not quite the same as sports kids, although marching band is definitely physically demanding enough to be considered a sport. Most band kids, most band kids would benefit from performance and music education classes such as much as athletes would benefit from physical education classes. Athletes can choose classes based on what they personally need for their sport, for example, team sports or fitness, which are both offered as PE courses here. Band kids, however, don't really get that opportunity and inevitably end up having to either take early bird, which was a struggle this year for me to even enroll in, or give up one of their elective classes for a class that doesn't help them much with what they want to do with their lives. Furthering this point, most if not all the students enrolled in early bird PE are part of the fine arts department here at South. If high school is about preparation for the future, why shouldn't kids follow their passions and do what will get them where they want to go? For most, physical education is not a class that will lead students to succeed in life. Colleges care a lot more about science, math, English, and arts credits than PE credits. A lot of band kids, we strive to be the best students and people we can, and it's often hindered by restriction on courses. While I understand that a student has a limited amount of time for electives, why should we not maximize the electives we can take and credits we can earn to help ensure a brighter future for ourselves? This could be easily done by allowing students in marching band to have a few extra weeks to the whole year off of PE to recuperate after the season ends and earn an extra half credit as well, or full credit. Hypothetically, this could mean that if a student took an additional semester class instead of PE all 4 years, that student could earn an additional 2 to 4 credits. This would not only increase their chances of getting into good colleges, but it would also allow for high-achieving kids to participate in their many passions. Please consider making a full semester or full year PE such an option for these such students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Moving on to the superintendent's report. Superintendent Locke.
Hi there. Happy late April. So nice to see all of you. So this has been a really hard few weeks or a month for all of us. there's not anyone here who isn't thinking about Bryson and Jack every day. It's been so hard to give hugs to the families, sit next to kids who have tears in their eyes, check in on our counselors and social workers who are doing a great job, and just give them a hug and a pat on the back because of the work they're doing. I know we all took a moment of silence and can do this kind of remembering and reflecting in our own ways. I wanted to spend a bit of time and just acknowledge what all of us are feeling in our own ways, because it's been really tough. We've been working real hard, thanks to our partners at District 181 and the Community House and the county who have sent additional team members to help us out. Bill and Carrie and their teams have been really bending over backwards to figure out how to help staff and students feel their feelings, connect with how they're feeling, get the professional help from our really excellent counselors and social workers and psychologists. You can see on the screen some of the letters and some of the links we've put out there about this. I'm really confident in the work that the school teams have been doing to deal with this tragedy. I also am awake every night thinking about the staff members, the parents, and the students who aren't taking advantage of all these services. So if there's one thing I could do to everyone listening here, reflect and be reminded that mental health it's real, it's something that affects all of us. There's tons of support out there. I've heard from kids who said, oh, I never thought I was a therapy kid or wanted to do that. And I'm here to say this is stuff for all of us. Please take advantage of these resources. Life can be really hard sometimes, and I want to make sure anybody who needs that kind of help is getting it. Thanks to everyone who's reached out. I appreciate the phone calls and the notes as we try to rejigger our supports and coordinate those things. We're going to keep thinking about that. We talk about it all the time with the team. But please take care of yourselves, take care of the people next to you. And if you even think you might need help or someone to talk to, please do it. We've got tons of great people who are ready and willing to do that. So thanks. Okay. That one was hard. We've heard a bunch about the musical. I unfortunately didn't make 6 the musical. I'm penciled in for Mary Poppins. We've heard that 6 the musical already won an award. It's a great opportunity to see the talents of our kids. So please enjoy that. I'm sure it's awesome. It was interesting. I actually heard some of you students sort of talking about some of the themes in Harlan Cohen's book about this tension between winning versus learning. And is our goal really to have more credits and more classes and more AP scores, or is it really to leave high school and leave college with a deep understanding of how the world works? Harlan Cohen's a very well-known author. He's coming next week to our partnership community session that we do with the District 181 Foundation and the Community House. Just a couple chapters through the book, but it's pretty good. I'd encourage you all to take advantage of it and think about it. We started summer school registration last week. I think you told me, Keith, 178 people have registered so far, which is wonderful. Let me remind you, there is something at summer school for everyone. There are courses you can catch up on. There are new experiences. There are courses that might help you deepen your knowledge or try something new. There's lots of great opportunities there, so please, check it out, sign up. We keep thinking about other things we can do to increase more people going to summer school. Would love those ideas if and when anyone has it. Also, parents, the annual registration is happening very, very soon. Look for messages in your inboxes in early May. You'll use the parent portal to do this, but that's all coming. So just as an announcement, be ready for that kind of work. It'll go to everyone so they can register for the next school year. A couple other things that I think are pretty exciting and pretty excellent. One of our student clubs is really working with Habitat for Humanity to help people clean out your garage or take your old appliances or tools and put that to good use. It's this Saturday. Bring furniture, home goods, and building materials. We have a bunch of Habitat for Humanity members and students who will put it to good work. Some of our teachers on their own are offering special AP review sessions. We're coming on AP season, as many of you know, at the Hinsdale Central Library next week. It's quiet, there'll be snacks. It's a way to do some studying with your friends in a new location. I really appreciate the energy and enthusiasm for teachers to put in extra time to do something to help students get an extra edge. You may have heard about an ice bucket challenge that is a way to signal support for mental health. I don't have anything to do with this. I don't know quite what it's about. But I did notice there's a stack of buckets now in the hallway by my office, so stay tuned. A couple just recognitions. I was going to say this at the last meeting, but we recently passed Paraprofessional Appreciation Day. Our paras are a pretty awesome group. It's so fascinating to watch them working one-on-one with students or helping groups of students in a study hall, handling the particular needs that a student might have. They really help glue our schools together. And I couldn't say enough about how much we appreciate all of them. Speaking of glue, these four are really the super glue. These are our four assistant principals. It was Assistant Principal Day a few weeks ago, and Kurt, Chris, Kyle, Ryan, they really make things go. I love Carrie and Bill to death, but if I really need an answer, these are the people I call.
Oh.
And I'm sure they would agree with that. You four, thank you very much for all you do. Just a quick note, on the agenda tonight, my team, we're going to propose that the board sign a contract for weapons detection dogs in both of our schools for next year. This is another layer of our security. As I've said many times, we are constantly reviewing and revisiting our layers of security, and we think this has the potential to make our schools even more safe. There is a lot we still have to figure out. We are working with some other school districts, and the company involved is very school friendly to figure out how we talk about this, how we make it work. But the idea is that at each campus, for every single day that students are here, we'll have dogs on patrol. Now, These are dogs that are trained only to detect weapons, and these are special breeds of dogs. These are not the same dogs that police have. These dogs are not trained to bite. These dogs, when we've seen the demonstrations, if they detect something, they just lie down. We think this will help increase safety. We think this will help everyone be reminded of the challenges we all know exist in this world about security, and do so in a more inviting and healthier environment. So, board members, I'm looking forward to talking with you more about that. We think this will be really helpful to make our schools even more safe. I want to talk a little bit about music, band and music. We've heard a lot of comments. We heard from people today. We heard from people about a month ago. I've gotten plenty of messages and phone calls. I know Bill and Carrie have as well. One of the things I tell my team, and I've told you all, I think this is a great district, but great districts have to improve. We're committed to improving and getting better year over year, month after month, as things go. I know Principal Walsh has already met with the whole music department and shared the feedback that came from the last meeting. I'm sure he'll do that as well here. I know that Mr. Mogg, our Fine Arts Department Chair, has met with the Music Boosters Association at Central. And together, they are putting together a parent survey to get parent information about what they need and want and value from a music program. We are looking for a mechanism to get some of that same information from our middle school students. We haven't quite figured out how to do that yet, but that's something that's on deck as well. And I think, Principal Walsh, I think you said Wednesday, you've got a meeting with all the music students to sort of to talk about what the future of the music program is. I'm a big music fan. It's a little known fact that 100 years ago, I used to be a music critic for MTV News, so I do have some appreciation for music. You didn't know that, did you?
No.
True fact. I'm not sure it's the best criticism you will find. You can probably dig it up in the dredges of the internet, but you have better things to do, Mr. Waters. But music's important. We need to think strategically about what we need to do in order to improve our music programs. I have heard people who want us to increase the access students have to music and band. I have heard people say, we really need to do that at South because the course offerings and availability isn't the same at the two campuses. I have heard people say, we really need to focus on our most elite musicians and really try to generate a world-class ensemble. I have heard other parents come to me and say, look, we need to move away from classical music and be teaching musical genres and forms that are more relevant and applicant to our kids today. We have rules and procedures about when marching band and various musics are required. We have questions about what does it mean to be an honors musician versus a regular musician. There's a lot of work to do. I'm real confident that Principal Walsh and his team is starting to figure those things out. I think there's lots of connected pieces there. Thank you for your leadership, Bill. And thank you all for your comments and questions about all those sorts of things. We're digging into it. I want to highlight something that's pretty fascinating about our district. Way back in November, we shared the data from the Illinois Report Card about the biggest group of kids that's changing is the proportion of our students who are multilingual learners. We're required to spend extra energy and support for those students because they have to learn our rigorous academics simultaneously with learning English. Having spent some time in those classes and with those kids, it's incredible to me to realize just what an asset they are to us. They bring experiences from other parts of the world. They bring their culture and their ideas, and they really are making our school a better place. We're going to be working pretty hard with all of our teaching team next year to make sure our teachers understand how important multi-language education is and some ways to perform it even better. And we put together this video to sort of highlight what that looks and feels like in our schools right now. Keith, can you roll it?
I was thinking it's gonna be hard because I didn't speak English and I was only speak French, Spanish, and my country language, Creole. I do the best I can to speak with people.
My first day at Hinsdale Central, it was not that worried because I had Miss O'Keefe with me. She was my first teacher. She was my first helper. She was the kind teacher which I met first.
Here at Hinsdale Central and Hinsdale South, we really try to do everything we can to help our students feel comfortable.
The newcomer group is a group for students who come to Hinsdale Central, typically from other countries.
We try to divvy it up and do different experiences or activities each month with them, from scavenger hunts to learn about different parts of the building and resources that are available to them.
They bring that insight to what the world view is, and they bring something to the table that not every student does.
Our kids have gone through so much before they've even gotten here.
As long as there's a welcoming atmosphere to share some of their experiences and their perspectives, there's such diversity in thought and ways of learning and ways of thinking.
They don't let me feel differently. Don't let me feel like all of others here. Like I don't see the difference in me who doesn't really speak English and the other student. I just enjoy everything they enjoy too.
They're expected to learn grade level content at the same time that they're acquiring English. So for teachers, it's very strategic as to how they are teaching the content. That's done by scaffolding. So if you're thinking about like scaffolding on a building, when they're brand new, you kind of have your scaffolding really tight, and then the idea is to like slowly take those supports away so that they can then be successful in the mainstream classroom.
You're trying to make information comprehensible for all students in your class. And so you are doing a lot of differentiation, but you're also really working hard to make sure that they are speaking, listening, reading, and writing every single day.
Where I came from, they were not that usually helpful for every single student. But after coming here and after I joined this specific school, I do feel like I can do that.
We want them to be using English in the classroom as often as possible. I love being a teacher in this setting because you're seeing students from very different educational backgrounds that have come from all over the world, and becoming more and more in tune with that has been a really fun journey for me, and just helping fill any gaps, helping elevate. The more opportunity for you to, let that passion for teaching grow, and it kind of reinvigorates you.
When I first went to school, and I heard people talking in the languages I never heard of. Everybody's speaking this language, so I guess I started learning by talking.
I think it's a very good program for her because we're talking in Mongolian language in my home, so sometimes I don't understand well. It's very helpful.
Some of our students have recently started leadership roles where they are ambassadors at our school. Our kids want to help each other, and so when we do get a new student, our kids are the first to be like, oh gosh, where are they from? What lunch do they have? How can I help them?
Our multilingual students are an asset. I'm learning every single day.
They've made me a much more effective teacher to not just multilingual students, but all learners in general.
It's our fastest growing population of kids. We're working real hard to make sure we're serving them just like we serve every single kid who lives in our boundaries to move them ahead. I want to highlight something that happened today. Today, every single 8th grader from Burr Ridge Middle School came to Hinsdale South. They will be here full-time as 9th graders in the fall, but we started this thing called Step Up to South. My graphics didn't translate so well, but that's all right. And they got a tour of the school. They learned about clubs and activities. They got a bunch of swag. They got some treats from the cafeteria. They learned about courses and academics. And there were teachers there, but there were Burr Ridge Middle School alumni who are now Hinsdale Central, South, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders leading this on. We're excited to see this starting. It's great to partner with our sending schools and make sure those students are getting support even before they come here. Carrie, thanks to you and your team for putting this all together. I know it was a ton of work. I hope we can do a lot more like this down the road. And lastly, I'm fine. Thanks for the cards and notes. It's all good. I'm a little tired still, but I'm fine. Thank you. And that's my superintendent's report.
Thank you so much, Mike. Moving on to board committee reports. March 28th, there was an academic committee meeting. Chair Akris, will you provide the March academic committee report?
Yep. The academic committee met on March 28, 2025. The administration presented an overview of their work to establish an assessment plan for next school year and assessment considerations for the 2026-2027 and beyond. Additional updates to the academic committees will be planned to discuss assessments. Next topic was curriculum materials adoption. The Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Markey, presented curriculum materials recommended for the 2025-26 school year. The proposed texts are available for public review for a 30-day period at the District 86 office during regular business hours. The majority of the proposed new materials are book club options for students to choose between. The recommendation is to adopt these materials will be made on the May 8th committee of the whole meeting. There was also discussion on MTSS in the 2024-2025 school year. The administration presented the design and implementation of the district's multi-tier system of support, or MTSS, efforts. The committee discussed progress on the effort to implement the MTSS program and program changes. The committee offered their recommendations on the priorities for their work, and then concluding with reviewing ideas for the 2026-2027 program of studies. The committee reviewed ideas and works in progress for the next iteration of the program of studies for the school year 2026-2027. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Walker is not in attendance this evening. Member Kartsunis, will you present the HR committee report?
Yes. The HR committee met in closed session on April 8th, 2025. The committee reviewed proposals for non-union raises and supported the recommendations of the administration that appear on the agenda for board action later on this evening.
Thank you. Chair Waters, will you provide the April Finance Committee report?
Certainly. Finance Committee report for April 16th. The Finance Committee convened to review several different key points. First, electric market update and contract discussion. The consultant recommended considering early locking of electricity rates due to favorable market conditions. Current pricing is 16 to 19% lower than existing contract rates. The committee supported setting a target rate of 4.75 to 4.8 cents per kilowatt hour for a 24-month term with flexibility to secure savings if the market allows. Assistant athletic trainer proposal. The proposal is to hire 2 assistant athletic trainers, 1 per campus, to address inconsistent coverage and staffing shortfalls. The estimated net cost increase is $40,000 over current arrangement. The committee supported moving forward to improve service and reduce liability risks. Canon copier replacement. This is phase 2. The plan is to replace 35 aging copiers at a cost of $181,000 using consortium pricing. No expected price increases relative to tariffs due to domestic manufacturing. Funding is included in the fiscal year 2026 budget committee, and the committee did indeed express support. DuPage County grant at Hinsdale South. For the Hinsdale South Mother's Room, the district secured a $25,000 grant from DuPage County for the renovation of a mother's room at Hinsdale South. The agreement has been legally reviewed and will be presented for board approval. Federal grant funding overview. The district receives approximately $2.4 to $2.6 million annually in federal funds, primarily via ISBE and DHS, including Title IV, IDEA, STEPS, and Medicaid. Concerns were raised about federal funding instability due to a $3.5 billion shortfall in Illinois and broader political legal uncertainties. Administration is exploring strategies to reduce grant dependency, particularly for staffing costs, and is monitoring developments. At this time, no districts in Illinois are acting independently of ISBE guidance regarding federal funding certification. Non-union staff raises, recommended 3.4% salary increases for non-union staff tied to the Consumer Price Index, final implementation of TRS, on behalf pension contributions for non-cabinet administrators, and raises to be presented to the board tonight on April 24th. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Walker is not in attendance this evening, so I will provide the April Facilities Committee report. The Facilities Committee met April 18, 2025. The committee discussed the following projects and recommendations: Hinsdale Central, Hinsdale South, pool deck, and locker rooms. Work is underway in the south pool deck and locker rooms in the central locker rooms coach sequence, corridor outside of the locker rooms, coach's office, bathrooms, and showers. The central pool will be accessible with limited impact through the project. The central auditorium lobby donation and project. Hinsdale Central Building Administration presented the committee with plans to modernize the auditorium lobby thanks to a generous donation from Kayla and Duran Sanghani in memory of their son, Keshav Sanghani, a 2018 graduate of Hinsdale Central. The $75,000 donation to the Hinsdale Central Foundation was made with a verbal commitment for additional donations to update the auditorium lobby. The Hinsdale Central Foundation will house the money and fund the projects as they are executed. DuPage County grant, the Hinsdale South Mother's Room. The Hinsdale South Mother's Room renovation was identified as a partnership opportunity between DuPage County and the district through their member initiative program grant of $25,000 in funding was awarded to the district for the project. Thank you to county board members Lucy Chang Evans and Carrie Galassi, and our administration for coordinating this partnership. A legal agreement for this work was reviewed by District Legal Counsel and is presented for board action. Hinsdale South Varsity Baseball Access. DuPage County is completing plans for a wooden bridge to provide access from the roadway to the South Varsity Baseball Field. The wooden bridge addresses engineering and water flow issues in the floodplain and reduces the fees and timeline for completion. The final location of the bridge and connecting sidewalks are still to be determined. Tuck pointing bid. The Facilities Committee reviewed a recommendation to award a base bid and 4 alternate bids for tuck pointing at the high school buildings. Favorability in the budget will allow the district to accelerate work in these areas. Gymnasium lighting bid. The Facility Committee discussed the bid for the lighting in the Hinsdale Central and Hinsdale South gymnasiums. Lighting rebates and favorability in the budget will allow the lighting upgrades to be completed from this year's budget. Chair James will provide the April Policy Committee report.
Thank you. The Policy Committee met on Monday, April 21st to review the following policies. Policy 5:125, personal technology and social media usage and conduct. We discussed that a reminder to staff of their responsibilities regarding social media while working was planned for the start of the 25-26 school year, but there were no changes to policy recommended. Policy 6:250, community resource persons and volunteers. We also discussed the screening of volunteers and application for a policy requirement to several different types of volunteers and situations. There is a volunteer information form, liability waiver, and annual criminal background check were discussed as administrative procedures to support the policy, but again, no changes to the policy were recommended. We also discussed policy 6:310, high school credit for non-district experiences, course substitutions, re-entering students. And this came about from listening to our students regarding the PE exemptions and band. And we discussed options allowed under Illinois 105 ILCS 5275 of the school code for providing a semester or a full year of PE exemption for marching band students rather than a seasonal exemption. Committee supported changing the policy to allow for a full year exemption, but the committee also recommended that this policy be presented to the full board for full discussion, as we'll see later in this meeting. We also discussed 3 more policies. So policy 6315, high school credit for students in grades 7 or 8. And we reviewed the policy in response to the board's request that the policy and its changes clarify how the district would recoup the cost of teaching junior high students from the elementary districts that matriculate to District 86 advanced maths courses. Discussion also touched on the impact of policy 2:310, which directs us that this district does not grant credit towards graduation requirements for learning experiences that are not completed through the district. The superintendent is developing procedures that will create a cost structure, and those will be shared with the board when they are complete. So that'll be coming soon. And we discussed policies 7:31, 7:32, and 4:110, which are related to school attendance areas and transportation. And we discussed these policies as eligibility for legacy attendance under section 2 of policy 731 will be complete at the end of this school year, the 24-25 school year. The policy committee recommended that the proposed policy updates be presented for first read. Again, we can discuss that later in the agenda. And the last item is policy 7:100, health, eye, and dental exams. And we discussed the enrollment procedures that excluded students from receiving their class schedules and changes that were made to that policy last year. We recommended a slight revision to the policy to further clarify and recommend that this change be presented for later, for first read. And finally, we noted that the press policy issue 118, which I believe came out yesterday or today, will be presented. It will impact about 22 different district policies, and that will be for the next board to address when those come, when they're ready.
Thank you. The April 28th A&O Committee report, Chair Rahman is not available to provide the report, so Member Waters, can you provide the A&O report?
Certainly. The Availability and Opportunities Committee met on April 21st. The Availability and Opportunities Committee met. The committee welcomed community members selected to serve as community representatives and engaged them in the following: a review of the different roles and responsibilities of stakeholder groups that will provide input and engage in the A&O committee's work. Discussion of ways that course availability and course opportunity were operationalized in this year's staffing process and ideas for next year's staffing and program of studies processes. Review of simple tally data to understand how this information is recorded and used during the staffing and scheduling processes, and discussion of observations and ideas for impacting these processes. Analysis of 2024-25 course enrollment data, which shed light on the differences and similarities between the district's campuses. Members of the A&O Board Committee made the following recommendations for next steps. First, provide a master scheduling 101 overview at the Availability and Opportunity Committee's next meeting, collect other district comparison course data for review at the next committee meeting, and finally, present the board with key takeaways that can be considered for implementation.
Thank you. Moving on to discussion items, mobile phones, 2025-2006 school year. Principals Walsh and Paranto will discuss plans to limit the distractions caused by mobile phones in classrooms for the 25-26 school year.
Good evening, Bill Walsh, Principal of Hinsdale Central High School. Thank you for the opportunity for Dr. Paranto and I to speak on this matter, cell phones here at school. As principals, it is critical that we recognize that our instructional environment be a place for students to learn about curriculum, collaborate with their peers, and critically think through curriculum. For that to happen, we as educational leaders want to create a learning environment that avoids distractions, in particular, digital distractions. It is our recommendation as principals that beginning in the 2026 school year, students and staff will be expected to keep cell phones and other personal electronic devices out of sight, thereby out of mind during instructional periods. I'll turn it over to Dr. Pronto for a little bit more.
Absolutely, thank you. Again, Carrie Pronto, principal of Hinsdale South. So as Principal Walsh stated, we all know we've been talking about this for some time, and we've seen a lot out in news outlets and social media and data. There's a lot of background that shows how distracting cell phones can be within instructional spaces. It takes away from learning, it takes away from teachers' lessons. There's also a huge component with social media with regards to negative mental health concerns that come with excessive use, as well as we know academic integrity that occurs when in the classroom. So what we are talking about is not necessarily a policy change. We are continuing with with current practice. According to board policy 7:190, it is listed in student behavior, just as Principal Walsh mentioned, about cell phones or electronic devices will be powered off, out of sight, silent. And that's also listed in both of our schools' handbooks. So again, this is no new policy change. We are just taking a very proactive approach for the start of the school year next year, and making sure that all students and all staff are prepared for that when we come back in the fall. There's a couple things that we wanted to make sure we addressed and to make sure that is brought up today. One is tools and training for staff. We will ensure at both campuses that all instructional spaces will have some type of phone storage, whether that be cubby spaces, whether that be holders, what have you. Every single instructional space will be outfitted on the first day of school. And training, we have already started working with our department chairs, our building leaders, the union, and we will continue to do so the rest of this year. And on Institute Day, the first day of school next school year, we will be working with staff to make sure that they are prepared and they are ready for our expectations in the start of the school year.
Thank you so much. Organizational updates for 25-26. Superintendent Locke.
Hi there. I want to share some organizational updates for your feedback. So, in thinking about things, the team had some small short-term goals and then some larger goals that informed what we wanted to do. One, as we talked about at the academic committee, we want to enhance the management and supervision of MTSS. We also want to make our student services operations more strategic. Dr. Smith does a tremendous job leading this whole department, but there's just a lot, and the more she can be focused on the long-term strategy and less of the individual student matters, the better. Longer term, I'm interested in a better positioning of principals and their teams to really be the instructional and operational leaders of their building, and to also lay the foundation so we can enhance our professional learning so everybody district-wide, we get better at getting better. So a couple things to think about. We're gonna, what's current is on the left, and the new structure is on the right. We're gonna take the Director of Equity and Inclusion and the Director of Instruction and Innovation positions that right now report to the Assistant Sup of Academics, change those into Director of Professional Learning titles and have one reporting to Central, to Bill, and the other reporting to Carrie at South. In these roles, we'll do essentially the same work, support teacher learning through instructional technology, coordinating all of our instructional coaches, designing activities for DIP days, Institute days, and early release Wednesdays, and helping our new teacher induction work. we think this will make things work better. Before we go too far, I just want to say a couple words about equity in SEL, because it's part of this. I think it's going to make our equity in SEL work stronger. It centers that work in our school buildings where the necessary relationships exist to drive improvements. And I don't want that stuff just to be centered in two different roles. I want that to be part of everyone's job. We know, Lord, we know more than ever this month that the skills and knowledge to understand and manage emotions, build relationships, and make responsible decisions are essential for teenagers. They're essential for everyone. I know that diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, is in the middle of a national reckoning, and I'm happy to leave that at that. But I want us to recommit to fostering a school system where all of our students feel like they belong, they're academically challenged, and have opportunities to pursue their ideal future. I want all of us to keep aspiring to be a district where staff grow as professional educators, where the differences between and among our students and staff and community are learned about, are understood, are celebrated. I've always thought that the more diverse we are, the more powerful we are, the more honest and courageous we can be, the more impactful we can be. So I think these changes are really going to help us move things ahead. The MTSS work is going to move so that's supervised by the assistant principal of instruction in each building. The assistant super of academics will be charged with ensuring that things are coherent district-wide, so we're using the right metrics, we're recording data consistently, we've got the right processes for all that stuff happening. That'll be their charge. At the academic committee, you just heard the recap from Osmo. We shared this slide and sort of outlined what we saw, the 8 key things that we want the MTSS teams to accomplish next year. There's a bunch of work to do to level up those processes, but we're already talking about it and building out our plans around that kind of work. The SEL programming and coordination work is going to move to the directors of professional learning. It's currently run by the director of student services. That'll again make it more impactful and closer to the operation of the schools. The director of deans and the director of counseling are going to report to principals. The directors of special education, they're going to continue to be dual reports between the assistant sup of student services and the principals. We've talked a bit about this at the board table, but Haven next year will be embedded in both high schools' continuum of special education services and report up to the director of special ed at each of those schools. We have a director of data and analytics. She will start on July 1st, and she will be a dual report to me and to the assistant superintendent of academics for at least the beginning of 25-26. I think all these changes are going to make us stronger, more efficient, and better able to serve students. I appreciate your feedback.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Superintendent Locke? I would like to say that I am very appreciative of your taking the time to build the understanding around organizational changes and actually taking this almost full year to learn about our district, our campuses, and the needs of our students. And I look forward.
I have a lot more to learn.
Yeah, but I do look forward to getting updates as you progress.
And I also appreciate you bringing the sports more into each building directly, so that you have more direct contact with the students and more direct support available to them with people that they're familiar with.
Thank you, Dr. Locke. I know you and I had a great, robust conversation about reorg, and I appreciate your leadership in bringing this to our attention and really spearheading. I'm excited to see the results of this reorg and shifting in terms of the organization. So appreciate your leadership, and hopefully we'll see where this takes us to great places.
All right, moving on to action items. Approve electric contract parameters. May I have a motion to authorize CFO Stevenson to execute a 24-month, 100% fixed electrical contract at or below 0.0475 cents per kilowatt hour. May I have a motion?
So moved, Akris.
Second, James.
Motion Akris, second James. Is there any discussion? Please call roll.
Member Greenspan.
Aye.
Member James.
Aye.
Member Akris.
Aye.
Member Kartsunis.
Aye.
Member Waters.
Motion carries 6-0. Approve Canon copier replacements. May I have a motion to approve the second phase? Motion carried. 5-0. I'm sorry. May I have a motion to approve the second phase of Canon copier replacements for an amount not to exceed $181,975.37. May I have a motion?
So moved. Kartsunis?
Second, James.
Motion Kartsunis, second James. Is there any discussion? Deb, will you please call roll?
Member James.
Aye.
Member Akris.
Aye.
Member Kartsunis.
Aye.
Member Waters.
Aye.
Member Greenspan.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Approve the member initiative program grant with DuPage County. May I have a motion to approve the member initiative program grant with the County of DuPage for funding the mother's room renovation at Hinsdale South?
So moved.
Second, Kartsunis?
Motion Waters, second Kartsunis. Is there any discussion? Will you please call roll?
Member Akris.
Aye.
Member Kartsunis.
Aye.
Member Waters.
Aye.
Member Greenspan.
Aye.
Member James.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Award bid 25-009 LED lighting. May I have a motion to award bid 25-009 LED lighting replacement for Hinsdale Central and Hinsdale South Gymnasiums for an amount not to exceed $97,562 to Twin Supplies Limited. May I have a motion?
Motion, James.
Second.
Motion James, second Waters. Is there any discussion? Please call roll.
Member Kartsunis.
Aye.
Member Waters.
Aye.
Member Greenspan.
Aye.
Member James.
Aye.
Member Akris.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Award bid 25-011 tuck pointing summer of 2025. May I have a motion to award bid 25-011 tuck pointing summer 2025, the base bid and all alternates to IWNG Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $292,134. May I have a motion?
Second, Kartsunis?
Motion Waters, second Kartsunis. Are there any questions? Please call roll.
Member Waters.
Aye.
Member Greenspan.
Aye.
Member James.
Aye.
Member Akris.
Aye.
Member Kartsunis.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Approve one-year contract with 3DK9 Partners LLC. May I have a motion to approve a one-year contract with 3DK9 Partners LLC to provide K-9 detection services for both Hinsdale Central and Hinsdale South High Schools for the 25-26 school year at an hourly rate of $59.50. May I have a motion?
So moved, Akris.
Second.
Motion Akris, second Kartsunis. Is there any discussion? Please call roll.
Member Greenspan.
Aye.
Member James.
Aye.
Member Akris.
Aye.
Member Kartsunis.
Aye.
Member Waters.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Accept donation from Rotary Club of Hinsdale Foundation. The donation will fund college starter kits for our graduating seniors who may need some assistance before traveling away from home. The kits include laundry detergent, toiletries, shower items, towels, sheets and cooking utensils. The Hinsdale South Community Liaison and Hinsdale South Community Action Team will distribute the kits to students. May I have a motion to accept the $2,500 donation from the Rotary Club of Hinsdale Foundation for college starter kits?
Motion James.
Second.
Motion James, second Waters. Discussion? Will you please call roll?
Member Waters.
Aye.
Member Greenspan.
Aye.
Member James.
Aye.
Member Akris.
Aye.
Member Kurtzunis.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Accept donation from Network Swish from Argo Community High School, District 217. May I have a motion to accept donation of an HP 5412, HP 5412 RZI2 Network Swish from Argo Community High School, District 217.
Motion James.
Second Kurtzunis.
Motion James, second Kartunis. Is there any discussion? Please call roll.
Member Greenspan.
Aye.
Member James.
Aye.
Member Akris.
Aye.
Member Kurtzunis.
Aye.
Member Waters.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Approved 24-25 school year final calendar. Administration recommends that the board approve the 24-25 school year calendar, or school year final calendar, moving the 5 unused emergency days and confirming the last day of school as May 29, 2025. Final school calendars are due to ISB prior to the last day of school. Districts will be able to submit final calendars starting May 1st. May I have a motion to approve the 24-25 school year final calendar as presented?
Motion James.
Wait, hold on, is this, I'm sorry, is this 24-25 or?
That's this year,
Okay.
24-25.
Thank you.
Motion James, is there a second?
Second Kurtzunis.
Is there any discussion? Please call roll.
Member James.
Aye.
Member Akris.
Aye.
Member Kurtzunis.
Aye.
Member Waters.
I would preface my vote by indicating, my persistent path in opposition to early release Wednesdays because they take the students out of class and feature less instructional hours than pre-pandemic. And I won't break from that cadence opposing it. I vote no.
You're opposing to take the 5 emergency school days off the calendar that
No,
we didn't
I'm
use?
I'm just opposing the approval of the calendar in total.
Okay.
4-1.
If you're calling me aye.
I'm sorry, Member Greenspan.
Aye. Motion passes 4-1. Moving on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items consist of items that are routine in nature or that have been discussed with the board and now presented for approval. Any item may be pulled from the consent agenda for further discussion and consideration. All items on the consent agenda are approved with a single motion unless removed from the roll call vote. Does any board member wish to remove an item from the consent agenda for further discussion and a separate vote? May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Motion James.
Second, Akris.
Is there any discussion? Will you please call roll?
Member Akris.
Aye.
Member Kurtzunis.
Aye.
Member Waters.
Aye.
Member Greenspan.
Aye.
Member James.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Financial reports, March 2025. CFO and Board Treasurer Josh Stevenson has submitted the financial reports, including a financial summary report, the treasurer's report, the student activity report, and the overtime report. Are there any questions for CFO Stevenson? Okay. FOIA report, April 2025. In accordance with policy 2:250, access to district public records and policy 2:250 AP1, administration has provided the board with a report of the FOIA request process since the board's last regular action meeting. Are there any questions for FOIA Officer Kudrowski regarding the 17 requests detailed in the report? Okay, board policies for first read. Policy 6:310, high school credit for non-district experiences, courses, substitutions, re-entering students, policy 7:31, policy 7:32, and policy 7:100. Chair James?
Sure. So as I mentioned in our policy report, We are proposing a fairly minor change to policy 6:310, which would allow for ongoing participation in a marching band program for 9th through 12th graders for credit, period. Right now, the policy says during football season. So as long as there are continuing to be ongoing marching band activities, that could be allotted. I know, Dr. Locke, you had some comments to add to this as well, but our discussion during policy was whether it would be for a half a year or for the one semester or for the full year. And that's what we're presenting here for discussion.
As a former band parent, or actually still current band parent on the collegiate level, my experience was at Hinsdale Central that in fact the marching band did continue to march together as a group, at least through Thanksgiving, because they often travel and do Thanksgiving Day parades. So I am in favor, or I do feel, I am supportive of a one semester band PE exemption.
And I think one of my other questions that I had for you, Dr. Locke, and maybe Carrie and Bill, you guys can address. I think the marching band requirements are slightly different at each school within the two buildings.
Carrie and Bill can certainly talk about that. I think generally our sense is that, as I spoke in the superintendent report, we want to do some work and make our music programs better. There's a lot of work to do to figure out exactly what we're trying to do. Our sense right now is that this proposal is a solution for a problem that we still haven't quite defined yet, and so our advice would be to table this for some time so we can sort of figure out exactly what we're trying to solve for and what we need to do to create the music program or programs that both schools need and want. Do you want to talk about you don't want to talk about it?
Well, this is still just this is not action, this is first read, and policy can be implemented, and then administration can, apply policy or administer and operationalize policy. Does anybody have any?
So, I guess my first question is, why is the consideration just a semester versus a year?
I think originally the discussion, so at Central, the kids continue events and such, at least through, I would say, through the end of November. It's, I think my understanding, although actually thinking about it, I think at Central they also do competitions in the spring. And at South, I think the kids, and frankly, they go throughout the entire year with competitions and showcases and shows, which would include the ILMEA stuff.
Are we part of either of those marching band competition leagues anymore?
At South this past year, we did not compete. We are a part of ILMEA, and that is through the music department, not necessarily just marching band. But no, this past year, Hinsdale South did not compete.
But the bands did actually perform in, say, Thanksgiving Day parades and in London. I mean, we've approved multiple, including choir, we've approved multiple field trips for these specific groups to go. And that is not music. That is actually marching band that goes to march on trips, and choir, the formal choir to go, and orchestra also,
So the recommendation of removing the during football season allows for it to be for the entire semester, for that entire semester. And what is common practice is when it's only during football season is the students are then required to take a study hall and then go back into PE after the football season would end. So if we get rid of that terminology of during football season, the possibility of taking a semester-long class is now permitted. And so I think that would alleviate some of the angst that we've been hearing about.
Yes, for that reason, I would be supportive of removing it for a semester because it just seemed a little confusing to just do it for part of the semester and then have students join a gym class mid-semester after other students were already in it for a while. It just seems disruptive to a schedule when this way it could allow a student to take a one-semester elective.
When, from a cadence standpoint, calendar-wise, when was it, to the extent there's an approval of any sort, when's the first time that would hit a school year?
Well, we would still have to update the policy, bring it to the board for second read and approval.
Yeah.
And then work with administration for them to operationalize policy.
But would that be for the fall of 25-6 or more like, would it hit, but maybe what semester would it start, what school year?
Well, it depends on what the board directs administration to do. Yep. Is there any more discussion?
My only question for administration is, why not a full year?
I, be honest, like, I have a bunch of misgivings about that. Like I said, I think we want to study what's going on, what's working, what's going on, and try to figure out what our music program should aspire to and then how to operationalize it. I worry about treating marching band as a semester when we treat other sports just as a season. You heard it today, we heard it the other time. I worry about what happens when things are opened up to additional coursework. I don't think it's healthy for a lot of kids just to think about high school as a place to put points on your transcript and tally up the courses, particularly given all of our mental health challenges and those sorts of things. So I want to be real smart about that. I think PE matters. I haven't heard it said, but I think there's absolutely a fitness part of PE, but to me, the value of PE is kids learn to do a variety of athletic activities, and the hope is that when they're old like I am, they know how to be physically active in a variety of ways and have had that experience. To me, that's a real important life lesson that high schools can teach and should teach. And I hear people talk about how people find community in music class. I love that. I also hear about how people find community in chemistry class or in chess club or at the baseball diamonds. And I think we have to think about those things. I like that PE is for everyone and open to everyone in a place where kids who are in different classes and come from different backgrounds get to interact and play kickball or do weights or learn to dance. And I think that's a powerful place for kids to get to know other students. Not saying it's all a terrible idea, I just think I've got some concerns and I think we have to really make sure what we're doing is really student-centered, and I think there's a lot of work we have to do to figure that out.
Okay. Is there further discussion on this particular policy? We still have to take it back for second read and bring it back to the table for discussion and action, so is everybody comfortable with Peggy moving on? Great, thank you.
Our next items are around policy 731, 732, and 410, and that was the removal of the legacy students. what is often referred to as the former buffer zone areas. So we're proposing retiring policy 7:31, which addressed the buffer zone, and then any reference to that in policy 732 and 110. And our last policy for discussion is policy 7:100 for the basic examinations, and we just have one sentence to be stricken from the wording as proposed. So, and that is just to provide a little bit of clarity around what class schedules will not be withheld. But the requirements that the schedules are, the health requirements listed in the policy are required by the first day of school, or a letter indicating that you'll have them have that exam, and then having met that exam and provided those requirements to the school by 30 days after the start of school. And that's according to school code.
And no withholding of schedule.
All right, thank you. Chair James, Policy Committee Chair James. Moving on to the President's report. I'm so grateful for the discussion today regarding cell phone usage in school. Thank you, Principals Toronto and Walsh. It's so important for our students to learn in an environment free from distraction so they can truly engage in what they are learning. While this won't be a huge change, it's already in policy, a lot of this is already happening. I think our continued efforts to formalize and tighten up procedures regarding cell phones will make a big positive impact for our kids. We talk a lot about community partnerships. During tonight's meeting, you saw a handful of examples of how powerful this could be, from DuPage County helping us renovate a mother's room at Hinsdale South to the Rotary Club. Donating college starter kits and donations from another school district. We're seeing the true benefits of working together with community partners, and it's benefiting our students and staff members. Lastly, I too would like to congratulate incoming board members, Liz Mitha, Mary Satchwell, Bobby Fisher, and Baron Leacock, as well as all of the candidates who ran for board. It's great that we have so many passionate community members willing to volunteer their time on behalf of our students. I thank you all for coming tonight. Moving on to future agenda item requests. Do any members of the board have a request for future agenda items?
Yes, I wanted to, Dr. Locke, you talked about the music program and uncovering and doing more analysis. I would like to get that on a report to the board of trying to understand better what you find with the administrative team, and then what recommendations can we have in terms of making the D86 music program at both campuses a robust, attractive program that can continue. From what I'm hearing, what the center schools have been doing, we want to extend that, extend what they've been doing in their middle schools to even a better program. So if we could put that as a future agenda item.
Are there any other future agenda items? Okay, moving on.
Can we include that? I'm sorry.
Put it on. Yep, thank you. The exemption from our changes. Yeah.
Oh, hey!
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Deb, did you put it on?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm going there now.
No worries. Well, I know. Yep, that's okay. Thank you.
Okay, she'll put it on. Moving. Hello, Dr. Lamont. Board comments. We have set aside time on the agenda for board comments. This section of the agenda is not for board deliberation. It may be used by board members to offer their comments for the record. Are there members of the board who wish to offer comments?
Yes, thank you, President Greenspan. On April 21st, 2025, Mr. Giuliani posted an article titled "Intimidation Blamed for Hinsdale D86 Resignation." And within that article, Mr. Giuliani states the following statement: "Before 11th Left member Asma Akers joined in the harassment and attack on Leventhal, asserting she needed to be disciplined, in quotes, and subjected to professional development, in quotes, for exercising her parental rights. Weiss said. Akers was said to have wanted a discussion of Leventhal's punishment before Leventhal left the room, end of quote. This specific closed meeting referenced in the article was held on September 18th, 2023. This past Tuesday on April 22nd, 2 days ago, I went to the district office to do my due diligence and affirm for myself, knowing my knowledge of the situation and my character, and affirm for the public what my stance was. I listened to the full recording of the meeting with over 5 pages of detailed notes. Due to legal constraints, however, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to share. I am allowed to share, though, that in that specific meeting, and like all the meetings I've attended as a board member, and with the continued commitment and spirit I bring to this board of unequivocal prioritization of students, collegiality, and professionalism, bridge building and support was beyond extended to former member Leventhal. My commitment has always been and will be to our students. The thought of not protecting student privacy and the accusation being thrown is beyond incomprehensible for someone who's going on 30 years in the field of education, who's championed for student classes, who I've held to my highest potential of integrity as best as I can to this role and commitment to our D86 students. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to make a board comment?
Yeah, I would like to make a board comment, and first of all, thank you for yours. I wanted to thank administration, Superintendent Locke, and everybody involved for the raising awareness for mental health. Obviously, we have the Ice Bucket Challenge here at the district. I think you guys are hosting that tomorrow, I believe, to some extent. And I just want to remind everyone, Dr. Locke will be dumped on repeatedly throughout the day, so please find time to come to the high school and do that. But more,
Mr. Waters, I'm dumped on repeatedly.
but no, more importantly, and to the point, the cell phone, I wanted to thank the administration and the building leaders for doing the cell phone policy. And, I hope that is obviously enforced to the greatest extent possible. So I'm sure it's not easy, but I obviously think it's important, and so does this administration. The website is activeminds.org, and the hashtag is Speak Your Mind. This Speak Your Mind hashtag on Twitter or X or whatever is absolutely blowing up with kids and young adults around the country for a reason, because it's real. So thank you.
I just want to give a brief comment because this is my last regular action meeting with this board. And so I just want to take this opportunity to thank my fellow board members, administration, all staff, and the D86 community. First of all, for welcoming me into this appointed role a little over a year ago. And for also working with me and all of us working together to build a positive, collaborative relationship to increase opportunities for all of our students and to help them achieve their best possible potential while they're here as students in our district. It's really been a pleasure to sit in this role. I value the relationships that I have built with all of you, particularly my fellow board members. I think that we have worked together really well during my tenure on the board. And I want to congratulate the 4 newly elected board members. I know that they will do a wonderful job filling these seats. And I look forward to all the good work that the future board is going to do and for all the good things that are going to happen for District 86. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
I kind of agree with Dr. Barnes' cartoonist. Sorry. Apologize for my tardiness today. I'd like to thank the administration and everyone for being here for a few years. I think we've done a lot of positives. It's not always been easy. It's been challenging. I think one of the questions I was asked when I interviewed was, what is my biggest concern for this district? Low-hanging fruit would have been superintendent, or some other areas that were coming up in the media. My response was the mental health of our students. I still believe that. So if we have concerns for our students, why would we accept the way some of our board members are being treated? I almost can't believe what I read sometimes, and I'm saddened by it. But I understand free speech, but some of it is so personal that I think it distracts from the vision of this district. So I am positive the remaining board members will continue with Dr. Locke, and our administration has been working very hard. And the new board members, I'm sure you'll do extremely well. For the community members that are involved and do work with the board, I thank you personally. So that being said, this is my final meeting. My favorite part has always been the student liaison, to hear all the positives. So thank you so much.
Is there anybody else? Okay. Moving on to audience comments, the board will now hear additional public comments. Comments will follow our board protocols and board policy 2:230. Anyone who is interested in addressing the board may step forward. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Will the first speaker please step forward and identify yourself before speaking?
Hello, I'm Emily again. Long time no see. So thank you all for your nice comments, and I know most of the conversations here we're talking just about the band program in general at Central and South. I just wanted to add on to Dr. Locke's commentary. I mean this to all of you in the most respectful way, and it seems like most of you are just mostly focused on getting to solving the issues and getting down to the deep root of what the band program issues are. So definitely for more meetings. I just wanted to add, I know all of you are, no offense, generally a little bit older since you're here. Most of you are not in high school. So I do want to say, I do talk to older people often and ask them about how what they used to do in PE when they were younger. And so, like the PACER and stuff and state testing, all of that has definitely changed over the years. And I have to be honest, at least in my PE class, no offense to any of my teachers, that's just how the program is, but I feel that we don't learn too much in PE that a lot of people used to. We kind of just throw a ball around, and most of the time, instead of sticking with our main scheduling, like just learning like a certain unit like tennis or basketball, usually it switches over to let's sit around and do whatever we want. I kind of look around sometimes and I see kids just sitting there and talking, which probably not all the teachers' fault at all. The students don't try that much, but just in band in general, I've never seen a kid in marching band sitting down. We're usually all very engaged and we actually do want to be there. I know a lot of band students are also involved in things like sports and stuff, so which is a personal choice. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that if you're not a student, you sometimes don't see what other students are seeing in this moment in time. So, and yes, I did come here with a full understanding with my other friends, Cooper and Emily, that, there are going to be a lot of complications to change certain things like this from just one semester to a full school year. It was happening before COVID and there were a lot more band students involved, but if there are any complications, hopefully that's something that you guys are able to figure out. And yeah, I really appreciate you having me come here and talk. So thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Is there anyone else?
Hello. I'm Cooper Green again. So what I'd like to discuss is here at South, the band program is ongoing throughout the whole school year. We participate in many events outside the marching season. This includes 4th of July, or even the upcoming Memorial Day performance in the Deering Community Park. And so this is a justification for why it's an ongoing thing. And I feel like the year-long gym exemption would help support that. And also adding on to that is, as I get older, I'm trying to move into more AP courses and advanced placement. And these courses aren't just a semester long, they're a year long. And I find myself struggling to figure out how I'm gonna fit this into my schedule while also doing the things I enjoy. I enjoy band, I enjoy jazz band. So early bird band or early bird PE isn't an option, but I still want to be in these academic classes where I feel like I don't have the ability to with the policy as it currently stands. I'd also like to support the idea of having, like Dr. Locke was saying, PE is definitely an important thing. I'm not saying that the experience you have in it, learning, having fun in sports isn't important, but I'd also like to support the idea that maybe we do it the freshman year, and then as students move into AP courses starting in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, it starts going on, this band exemption goes on for the full year, so that it gives every student the same opportunity to participate in the same courses as everyone else. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Cooper. Is there anybody else?
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
My name is Brad Warble, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody for all you do, and appreciate all of you in many different ways. I am involved in the union, the SEI union, and I am a union steward for Hinsdale Central. So I'm involved in the discussions, negotiations over our new contract that started a couple months ago. So I guess my only comment would be as we move through this, I really believe we will come to an agreement, because I think we've got good people that have good hearts, that the group of people that I represent and the group of people that I have, that I'm around a lot are, they're not perfect, I know that, you know that, but they kind of remind me of my father, who was a tradesman, a carpenter, and they're just solid citizens. And I feel like that the predicament, the situation we're in as we proceed through the negotiations is that the school is really prepared to spend some money in many different areas, but when it comes to, what we are to make and what our salaries are, I kind of feel like we're on the lower spectrum. We've made great strides in the last, there's only 3 people that are involved in this union negotiation that were around 5 years ago, and I'm one of them. And so Ryan Maida and Josh were the other 2. So I think we kind of know the background. We had great strides to make, and I felt like we made them to get our payment compensation to a level that was, respectable. So now here we are again in 2025 talking about the next 5 years. I just challenge the board to think about the people that, during the COVID years you called essential. You called us essential employees, and I think we need to be treated like we're essential. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Hi, Elise.
Hi,
Hi.
it's me, again, Elise. I just wanted to say that band is so much more than just a class. It's both an activity outside of school and a class, and it is where you find your people. I was literally adopted by a junior and a senior when I joined band. It's part of the awesome, it's a community unlike any other I've ever been in. It has a diverse group of students who embrace weirdness, and they're they help everyone adjust to high school, and it's a really supportive environment. And it's not like a chemistry class where you have a few friends, you learn stuff. Band is it's kind of like a sports team. You all kind of help each other and encourage each other. And I also think that Missy Ducey at Hinsdale Central is someone who keeps this community going and encourages your students and gives it all to see the improvement of your students. And I think everyone would be really sad to see her go. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn to closed session for discussion under 5 ILCS 122C? Oh, was there?
There are two.
Oh, okay.
One, two.
I'm sorry.
I'll go first.
I really appreciate the discussion tonight about the PE exemption, but I just want to keep talking about how band is ongoing. It really is something that you have to do 365 days of the year. You have to work on that instrument. There are concerts, our kids are performing all over the place. There is a lot more to band than another just regular class. It's both a class and an activity. It's these kids home. It's where they feel valued and accepted. It is really important to our kids' mental health. For my kids, band was their brain break, and if they had lost the PE exemption, their choice would have been band or Latin. And that's a really tough decision. And they're both now working musicians. I'm glad they didn't have to choose, but I'm hearing all these other kids are having to make that choice. And as much as we say PE is something for life, music is for life. And these kids are gonna make music, and we're gonna enjoy the music they make. And I just hope we find a way to have a full year PE exemption for the marching band. I also want to commend the board and everybody sitting here, all of the admin. Things have changed so much over the past 2 years. When we keep hearing about transparency, you guys record every meeting. We're posting documents as soon as they've been shared at committee meetings. We're posting data, like I never dreamed that we would actually see the real data and not just a report. Every single person in this room has committed to sharing everything that is possible to be shared without breaking the law. So I am absolutely thrilled with where we've come to. I know we can still keep going, but this board has done a huge job with transparency. I don't have to FOIA as much anymore, which is actually really cool. And so thank you to all of you. We're gonna cut our legal bills because Kim won't be FOIAing. So thank you everyone sitting at the board table. I'm gonna miss those of you who are rolling off, but you're in my life forever and I have all your cell phone numbers, so I'll still call you. Have a great night.
Hi, I'm extremely disappointed that we just can't approve the full year exemption for PE. We know this is the reason why enrollment in band has declined. And Dr. Locke, how, kids only have 4 years in high school. You don't get music kids if you think that band is, and commitment to music are hurting their mental health. The entire band experience, which is largely academic, band is music is a real subject. And it's also a community, as we've heard. It's enhancing mental health. And by depriving kids of the full year exemption for another year, we're ensuring that kids in middle school who are interested in band will not be able to take it. That's a big improvement that we expanded early bird PE. And band kids can also eke it out with summer school and early bird. But we know that the full year exemption was successful during the many years that it existed. So why wouldn't we just reinstate it, because we know that band enrollment would recover. Also, by stalling on this, and it is stalling, kids only have 4 years in high school. We may lose Grace Aducey if she cannot be reinstated as full-time. Few teachers could survive going down to 40% pay. So I really hope that we will reconsider and reinstate the full year PE exemption. I would also like to thank all the board members very much, and I really appreciated what Heather Karsudis and Dr. Rahman had to say. And Asma, I'm feeling for you. You worked so hard. And I just want to say thank you and a word of support to this board. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? All right, thank you. May I have a,
One more. I'd like to make a comment. Please keep turning. Do I have to turn the microphone on?
yes.
I just would like to make a quick comment to the board, and to certainly thank Abed and Heather for your service. Peggy, James, I know you're leaving the board, thank you for your service. I'd like to remind all elected officials that it's important to have a thick skin, and people have First Amendment rights. With them, they do all sorts of different things. We are a community who is extremely grateful for all of your service. It's impossible for the community to constantly agree with board measures, or specific board members. I would estimate 98% of the community believes the election is over on April 1st. I heard the superintendent this evening talking about reorg. Apparently that's something you guys were discussing internally with the district. But there's apparently another reorg going on May 5th. So I would encourage any board members who are somewhat dejected or discouraged from recent maintenance made anywhere and everywhere online or in print, to remember, to some people, there's still an election on May 5th. So don't be perturbed by what you hear, read, or write. Remember, some people constantly fight for winning particular elections, including apparently your school board election on May 5th. And some people, the ends justify the means. Frankly, sometimes the means aren't ethical. So please stay strong. Thank you for your service.
Is there anybody else? May I have a motion to adjourn to closed session for discussion under 5 ILCS 122C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or specific volunteers of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee, a specific individual who serves as an independent contractor in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or a volunteer of the public body, or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in compensation to a specific employee of a public body that is subject to the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with this act. 5 ILCS 122C2, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or the representatives or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees, and 5 ILCS 122C11, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of a particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or an administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, James.
Motion Rahman, second James. Is there any discussion? Please call roll.
Member Greenspan.
Aye.
Member James.
Aye.
Member Akris.
Aye.
Member Karsunas.